Hi, I'm Crystal, and today I want to take a look at a new Liquitex product. So we're probably all familiar with the traditional Liquitex, but they've come out now with a bio-based Liquitex product. So I bought this on super clearance, and it's been sitting around a while, and the container was green when it arrived, and it just keeps getting more and more green. So before I completely finish off my traditional Liquitex, I wanted to compare the two to see if they are different in application and what this green tint might mean for this bio-based product. So I've put a bunch of paper down and blended some paint with the traditional Liquitex. Now that I've got the bio-based open, I can see that the green tint is the package and not the product. So that's good news. The bio-based Liquitex is 50% plant-based. The traditional is 100% petrochemical. PVA glue is also a petrochemical product. So this is a very different product to have something that is 50% plant-based. The recycled packaging is an added bonus, and I think you can tell from the packaging that this is really intended for a European market. Traditional Liquitex is measured in ounces, and the bio-based is measured in milliliters. I'm using it primarily as an adhesive because that's primarily how I use Liquitex, but it's really a paint additive. So I am blending out a little bit of acrylic paint at the bottom here, just so we can see that they behave the same between the traditional formulation and the new formulation. Now once I let these dry completely, we'll take a look, and we can see that as an adhesive, they both work just fine, and as a paint additive, they look pretty much the same. Now I used different types of paper, and I did some clear plastic, and the plastic is popping right off. Now that's not a big surprise. That would happen with any traditional glue as well, but all of the paper that is adhered just fine, and where I've painted over the top with both products, you can see right through them, and the paint application looks the same. So I would say that it's behaving the same as a traditional Liquitex product. Now, I do want to compare this to Mod Podge as well. So I've got a piece of paper where I've painted half the paper with Liquitex and half the paper with Mod Podge, so that we can take a look at why you might choose Liquitex for collage as opposed to Mod Podge. Not every project requires this feature, but Mod Podge, like any PVA glue, is also a sealer, and Liquitex is not. They are different products. So I've got the paper prepared, half of one, half the other, and I'm going to mark on top of each of them. So I have a variety of different things here. I've got a regular pencil, I've got some colored pencil, I have a Sharpie, and I have some watercolor paint. And I'm just going to mark on the top of the page and then see how these two products perform compared to one another. Because a lot of times when you're doing collage, you're doing multiple layers. You might be doing a little mixed media. And so if you are using something on top of your project, you want to know whether you have sealed it in or whether you can continue to add to the project. Now I'm just using things that I tend to use. So like I said, alcohol marker, a couple different kinds of pencils, and I'm going to put a little bit of watercolor paint here at the bottom. And once I've got everything on, I'm going to set everything aside to dry, and then we will take a look at how these two compare. So first I'm going to wipe across the top with a dry cloth. You can see that there's no impact on the Liquitex side. I'm going to now drag that across the Mod Podge sealant, and you can see that I'm picking up a little bit of the watercolor paint. Now next, I'm going to use something that's a little damp. I'm using a wet wipe for the second pass to see how that compares between the two. And when I drag this across the Liquitex side, I'm picking up the watercolor paint, but the color pencil and the alcohol marker is largely unaffected. Now on the sealant side, the Mod Podge side, I am really picking up quite a bit more of both the pencils and the watercolor paint. If I go back and forth a little bit, I can basically wipe out the pencil completely on the Mod Podge side, but not on the Liquitex side quite as strongly. So it may make a difference to you if you are a collage artist. And I just wanted to take a moment to make that comparison. Hope it's helpful. And thank you for joining me today.